This week's best MMA bets, we're talking UFC Paris. I'm going to give you guys my lock of the week, my most confident picks on the card, favorite underdogs. We'll talk Degen Props of the night, and then finish it out with the parlays. So make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new, subscribe. Turn the post notifications on. Make sure you share the video too. And also, last card. We got to get into it and chat a little bit about it. It was UFC 306, Noche UFC, and the lock took a fat L. We had Sean O'Malley to win. He lost the decision. Now, I feel a little bit better about it after we seen Guru drop a video really trying to sell the point that O'Malley was robbed. Watching the fight live, I didn't think so. I thought that he lost for sure. And regardless of the hype around potential bad decision that we just weren't seeing, it's an L. It's a loss on the lock. And I was disappointed, man. I had a good thing going, but it's all right because I reassess, I regroup, and I come back better. And for UFC Paris, I think I got some fire picks. So I'm ready to get right into it. Without further ado, the lock of the week.
Brian the Butcher Battle!
Brian Battle, lock of the week. If you guys know me and you watch the channel consistently, you know I rock with Brian Battle pretty much all the time. And he's been a lock for me before, and he comes through as a lock. And I'm expecting him to come through nicely here against Kevin Jousset, the Frenchman that trains in New Zealand with City Kickboxing. I think Brian Battle is going to thrive in this fight. Now, I've always been a fan of Brian Battle since The Ultimate Fighter, and he's gotten way better since his run on Tough, where he became the Tough champion. And he takes on a dangerous kickboxer here. Kevin Jousset is fairly well-rounded. He's got that City Kickboxing, like slickster striking style. I think Brian Battle is definitely quicker on the feet. Though Jousset is relatively good at controlling distance, he doesn't hit extraordinarily hard, and he also is relatively hittable and not a super fast twitch guy. Now, where I think he's really going to struggle is with Brian Battle's physicality. I will anticipate Brian Battle striking a bit with Kevin Jousset to find the openings, get this fight to the ground, and start doing his damn thing, because I think Brian Battle bullies Kevin Jousset on the ground. The Frenchman's got nothing for him on the mat. Now, as far as the betting lines, Brian Battle's a -165 favorite, so not too chalky of a locky this week. Close enough money line that it's money lineable and you don't just have to parlay it. I also like the submission call for Battle. Let me pop out the Zin. Shout out to him. If you're looking for some Degen plus money, you can get a Battle sub at +575. You know, you're chasing the sub prop. I see him winning this fight using his pressure grappling. It's not so much that I think Battle's dead man striking, though. It's not like Kevin Jousset has this insane power or this crazy, crispy striking. He beat Kenan Song off a decision, and he was touched. He was hit in the face a fair amount of times by Kenan Song, who's okay, but not a surging prospect like Brian Battle is. Brian Battle's putting it all together, and I really believe that he's consistently improving. And if you look at his build, Brian Battle works his ass off. If there's a guy that you're betting on and backing that you know is putting 1,000% into the game, and this is his whole life, it's him. Brian Battle, from what I saw on Instagram, looks more shredded for this fight than any fight before. I think he's coming in best shape of his life as he looks to make a statement leading into 2025 and potentially make a run for the rankings. I do not think it's out of the question for Brian Battle to fight in the top 15 and be ranked in the top 15 in 2025. Kevin Jousset, decent guy. I'd say he's a relatively good prospect too, but I don't think he's exceptional, and I think Battle can beat the Frenchman at home in this fight. And I like Battle's chances of locking up a sub, which is big plus money. Now, I think he's going to bully him on the ground, right? That's my true prediction for the fight. How can he get it done on the ground? It could be ground and pound, or he could potentially grind to a decision. But I do think he's going to overwhelm Kevin Jousset to a point where Jousset's not going to be able to continue. So inside distance for Battle, if you don't want to pick between knockout or submission, because you can see him potentially dropping some heavy shots from top, or maybe even shocking Jousset with a great punch on the feet. It's not like Battle doesn't have knockout power. Inside distance can cover you there at plus 280. Now, of course, if you're thinking it's going distance, maybe you like the over, but it's minus 245. I don't love it, which kind of just points the arrow right back to why the money line here I think is so valuable. You're not getting it as good as it was at open, which was minus 145, but you're not getting too many points up. You're getting minus 165, minus 164. If you're lucky, you're getting minus 150, but most places, you're going to see it around minus 165. And I'm picking Bryan Battle as this week's lock. I'm a believer in his skill set. He's a consistent performer, and I believe he's a reliable fighter to back and bet on. And that, to me, is lock money. That's the lock worth call right there. So this week's lock, we're going with Bryan Battle to get the win over the French kickboxer Kevin Jousset. And he's going to give him his first UFC loss. And I'm excited, man. I'm a Bryan Battle fan. If you're an OG Forrest Griffin fan, to me, this is like the new breed Forrest Griffin. The same damn voice. I'm telling you, bro. Listen to these guys talk side by side. They got the same voice. So I'm going with Bryan Battle. I think he's making a run to the rankings. And I like the new nickname, too. The Butcher is way more badass than Pooh Bear. So shout out Bryan Battle. Big W incoming. He's my lock for this week. Now, I do want to talk about my most confident picks. I'll bring them up on the screen here. And I'll actually drop a special edition fifth call at the end of the most confident pick section. We're going to go one by one. Let's go in order. Joanderson Brito to start it off. He's a high confidence call. And how can he not be? As he's taken on William Gomis, who's much more of a distant striker who likes to fight off the back foot and relies a lot on movement. But we've seen Gomis struggle against Francis Marshall, who's a relatively good pressure fighter. And I don't think Marshall's near the level of Joanderson Brito. I think anybody outside of that top 15, for the most part, I think Brito is going to get a W over. I feel like in this fight here, he'll make Gomis uncomfortable, probably get it to the floor. And it's not like I think Joanderson Brito can't strike with Gomis. I know Gomis is slick from distance, but he's not a major power striker. He's more of a relatively precise kickboxer, but very much so game built upon a lot of movement. So I do believe Brito is going to be bringing pressure, forcing Gomis towards the cage, and that is why I will expect him to work in the clinch a lot against the cage and find trips from there, potentially even, picking him up and slamming him if he's really trying to be a savage, but he doesn't need to. Brito could get to the back. I think Brito's live for an arm triangle. Very likely that Joanderson Brito gets a submission win over William Gomis. Now, as far as the money line, it's minus 280, right? So it's a chalky locky, but it is a lock. I think Brito's going to go out and thrive in this fight. He's a good fighter. He's a dangerous submission threat. He's got big knockout power. He's not outgunned in any aspect of this fight. The only thing is he does give up a bit of reach, but I think he's going to be okay. A bit of range, right, with Gomis being the taller guy, but I think he'll be fine. As far as the submission prop, if you like that, you're looking at plus 250 for the submission prop. If you think the fight's going over 1.5, it's minus 250. I definitely think it could, even though I expect Brito to overwhelm and eventually finish William Gomis with his very movement-heavy style. I can see him evading strikes and, kind of evading chaos for a fair portion of the fight, but I don't know. It's a sweaty over 1.5, and it's at that chalky minus 250 tag. I like Brito on the money line. You're going to see him mentioned in the parlay section 1,000%. He's a really high confident pick. I think submission is live too. He has some deadly leg kicks. He showcased those last time. And I don't know. I just think Joanderson Brito has top 15 written all over it. And I don't feel the same about William Gomis at this point. I think he's taking an L at home. So 2 calls already on the night picking against the French fighters. I'll have some French picks, though. But I think that Joanderson Brito is going to bully William Gomis. He's going to take him to the ground. He's going to make him uncomfortable. He's going to thrive by taking his back, probably locking up a sub, strangling him. I'm seeing a strangulation. I'm seeing Joanderson Brito by submission, which is big money. Plus 250 for that. but you're not going wrong parlaying Brito at minus 280 either. Let's keep running with the most confident picks. Next up, we got Morgan Charrier. See, I told you guys, I'm going with a French fighter. I'm not disrespecting all the French fighters. He's minus 700, though. My God. The odds suck for this fight. I really think that Morgan Charrier can outlast the early chaos of Gabriel Miranda, and I feel as though he's probably going to get a knockout in the second round. Miranda, if he can't get you out of there early, he falls apart. He did okay early with Benoit Saint-Denis. He did really well early with Shane Young, but I think Shane Young's kind of a bum. I feel like he's overrated. I think Morgan Charrier is better than a Shane Young. And also, Charrier is more competent on the ground. Like, Shane Young got blitzed on the ground with ease. I don't think that Charrier is getting bodied like that. I mean, Charrier easily could have gotten the split nod against Chepe Mariscal, who's a demon as far as his wrestling skills go and his pressure style. And now he's dealing with Gabriel Miranda, who's 50-50 at best. I think Miranda's a one-round fighter. He brings the submission threat early, and then he falls apart late. I think Charrier is going to knock him out. It's minus 150 for KO, so, you know, chalky lines still, especially looking for a knockout prop, but my confidence is high on that knockout call. And then also a second round call, which kind of makes sense, right? Let me know in the comments if you agree with this. Plus 320, second round for Morgan Charrier. I think he's live for a second round KO. I like the second round call. I like the plus money you're getting for it. He survives a chaotic pressure attack early from Gabriel Miranda, starts finding his range towards the maybe second half of round number 1, and then finds the kill shots in round number 2 and lays them out. Morgan Charrier by KO is the official prediction, and I see him breaking Gabriel Miranda. We've seen Miranda broken, and granted it was against Benoit Saint-Denis, but he has been broken before, and he's going to get broken here against Morgan Charrier. I think he gets cleaned up, and yeah, very chalky money line, but Charrier is still a very confident pick because I think he's well-rounded and competent in the grappling to deal with that chaotic attack early, and he's far, far better and cleaner in the striking department. So I'm going Morgan Charrier by KO. Let's keep running. Next one. Ludovic Klein. Yeah, of course he's a confident pick. Do I even need to talk about this one? Roosevelt Roberts should not be in the cage with Ludovic Klein. This is the truth. Ludovic Klein is surging up the ranks right now. I do think that his win over Thiago Moises was relatively impressive because he didn't have much difficulty with a guy that has, you know, supposedly high-level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Klein rocked him bad early in the fight. Ludovic Klein's definitely got knockout power, and he has become an absolute menace at 155. I remember when he's down at 145, and like, I don't know, he always seemed to have potential, but just couldn't really put them all together. But now at 155, he's gotten comfortable. He's got a win over Ignacio Bahamondes, last time out against Thiago Moises. And I think this is a relative step down in competition against Roosevelt Roberts. I like Roosevelt, though. I was rooting for him on The Ultimate Fighter, McGregor versus Chandler season. He lost a split decision on that season and then didn't make it to, you know, the final stage of it all. But that's all right. It was a close fight. But besides that, he's in a massive mismatch, okay? He shouldn't be taking a fight against Ludovic Klein. He took it on short notice. I respect him for coming in, but he's probably getting knocked out. Klein's a minus 1,000 favorite. It's wide as hell. The knockout is minus 115. I am shocked that the knockout is not minus 200. Ludovic Klein might have 2 out of his last 3 wins by decision, but he definitely has punching power. He's definitely far more dangerous than Roosevelt Roberts. Roberts is just not a power striker. Jab, jab, cross. Jab, jab, cross, body kick. He's good from the outside, but he's not an exceptional striker, and he's not going to be able to control range with Ludovic Klein. Klein is going to bully him, and don't be shocked if Klein grapples too in this fight. He's definitely not outgunned in any aspect of fighting against Roosevelt Roberts. And then the under 2.5 is minus 165. Now, because I'm mentioning that Klein could potentially showcase a bit of wrestling in this fight, what I am going to do is I'm going to mention the inside distance for Klein. It's minus 190, not nearly as juicy. It's, you know, almost 2-1. But if it's on likelihood of success, I really think Klein should get the finish. And, like, is it crazy that submission is live? What's Klein's up? Klein by submission plus 500. Last time Roberts got caught in that arm bar against Rumbeshki. He shouldn't have been fighting Rumbeshki either. Roosevelt Roberts is just getting horrible matchups, man. He needs not to be taking these fights. Holy shit. Give the guy some easier fights, please, UFC. I like Roosevelt. He seems like a good dude. He's trying to work his way up the ranks, and you throw him Ludovic Klein, surging Ludovic Klein, savage Ludovic Klein. They're trying to kill him. Klein for the win, minus 1,000. Yes, he's a confident pick, and he's a locky, okay? He's a chalky as hell locky. He's a fucking minus 1,000, but he's going to be the winner at the end of the fight. So, Ludovic Klein, the call with confidence. Listen, we got one more that you see on the screen, but I'm going to drop a special edition extra one at the end. Taylor Lapilus. Listen, this is good. This is good. Taylor Lapilus is talented. Taylor Lapilus is taking on a short notice Vince Morales. Vince Morales has climbed his way back to the UFC. He's got dreams of getting back here, and he's on a 5-fight win streak. I respect Vince Morales' hustle, but short notice against Taylor Lapilus in France, rough matchup for him. I think he will be technically outstruck. I think that Lapilus has pretty good grappling, and he's going to be able to avoid Vince Morales' pressure takedown attack. I think he is going to land some decent strikes from range. I don't think he knocks him out because Lapilus isn't a great finisher, but I expect a hard-fought 3-round decision against a gritty Vince Morales. Lapilus to win, yes, minus 360, chalky as hell. It's a parlay only zone, which is why I'm dropping another one. Looking at over 2.5, minus 300, relatively likely. Lapilus by decision, minus 145. Now, I will tell you this, though. Something about this fight, and this is a confident pick, but it doesn't mean it's impossible that something weird happens. Vince Morales by submission is actually not a horrible, degenerate sprinkle if you have Lapilus locking a couple of parlays and you just want to save your ass if shit somehow goes sideways, because the one way Morales wins this fight is probably a Darce choke. Morales is tricky with his submissions, but he's definitely the significantly slower striker, and I think he's definitely the worst fighter. But he is on a 5-fight win streak. He's fought hard to get back to the UFC. The dude's got the heart of a lion. Like, I got to respect guys that grind their way back because it ain't easy. Lapilus had to earn his way back too, right? So I'm not overlooking Lapilus. I'm picking Lapilus all day. Should be a clean win. But if Vince Morales is to pull off some sensational upset, plus 1,600, win by submission for Morales would be your degen call on the other side to cover your ass. Potentially, if you have Lapilus locking a lot of parlays, or you have Lapilus, maybe you're throwing a chalky-ass money line bet, you're throwing a Drake-style bet down, he's minus 360. Lapilus, confident pick still, and he should get the win. But that's not all, because I told you I'm dropping a special one, okay? Umar Sy. I like Umar Sy a lot. To be honest, Umar Sy is in the big four. Don't think because I dropped him in spot 5 that he is less of a confident pick than Taylor Lapilus. Honestly, I just didn't want to put him in the screen right away and then drop Lapilus after because I wanted to have something less chalky sitting on the screen there when I dropped Sy, and because I wrote down Lapilus first. But in my mind, I thought, you know what, Umar Sy might be a more confident call. It's just the odds suck. He's a minus 550 favorite. Yes, it's chalky as hell. But his submission line is plus money. Plus 135 by submission. I like Umar Sy to lock up a submission over Da Woon Jung. I'm not a big believer in Da Woon Jung on the ground. Now, in a striking fight, Da Woon Jung does have dangerous boxing, regardless of the subpar chin. Also, under 2.5 is minus 165. I like that as well. I have hope and I have faith that Umar Sy is actually a special talent that can make a run towards the top end of this light heavyweight division, because there is a lack of high-level grappling at 205. And if you get somebody like Umar Sy, who's strong on the ground, good transitions, dangerous submission threats, the whole division could be put on notice after this Saturday if he makes easy work of Da Woon Jung, which I'm going to anticipate he does. So very confident pick, Umar Sy to win at minus 550. Yes, he's going to lock up a submission. I've said it. He's the French John Jones, and I'm going to have faith that the French John Jones doesn't let us down. Umar Sy for the W. High confident pick. Those are the most confident picks. I do want to jump to the next section, which is my favorite underdogs on the card. Let's bring them up. We got 4 savage dog calls. Let's go one by one. Hanato Money Moicano.
Sup, mother Money Moicano here.
Everybody has said that I'm crazy for going with Money Moicano in this fight against Benoit Saint-Denis. But what has Benoit Saint-Denis proven? He did okay, I guess, early against Poirier and bullied him on the ground a bit. But Moicano, I would say, is relatively better defensively at grappling than Poirier, and substantially better at offensive grappling than Poirier. But Poirier's a better striker, and shit, Benoit got knocked out. Then you look at the wins before, like everybody's getting so hype about him knocking out Matt Frevola with a high kick. Was he not taken down twice in that fight, though? And Frevola just ran away, stupid game plan, and got kicked in the face. Thiago Moises win. Thiago Moises is not nearly as good as Moicano. Thiago Moises breaks. Ismael Bonfim win. Bonfim's got nice striking, but what else? He's overrated. Gabriel Miranda win. We're talking about Miranda losing to Morgan Charrier at featherweight to start the damn show off. What has he done? His weakness is still Brazilians. I don't care what you say. He lost to Elizio Zaleski dos Santos. He got bullied in that fight. Granted, he's gotten better since then, and that was up a weight class. But what happens when Renato Moicano can absorb the damage, the Benoit Saint-Denis bullying pressure, and he's still there? He's still fighting. We hit round number 3. Saint-Denis gone crazy on him. Saint-Denis overthrows his strikes. He gets chaotic and wild. Money Moicano is not outgunned in this fight on the feet. I would say his Muay Thai matches up with Saint-Denis' brawling, pressure, chaotic boxing style. And I also think that Money Moicano has better Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Like, yes, I understand. Benoit Saint-Denis has probably better pressure, potentially able to take Moicano down. But what does he do from it? He's just going to pass to Moicano's mount and beat the shit out of him? He's just going to walk Moicano down with chaotic punches and just lay him out? He's just going to destroy Moicano. How? Benoit Saint-Denis is good. He's a good bully. But what happens when he can't get Renato Moicano out of there? And Renato Moicano gets a successful position on the ground, and Renato Moicano chokes him the fuck out. I'm going with Renato Moicano for a massive upset. I don't care what the people say, and this is not me glazing Moicano trying to get the interview, all right? I'm not even, whatever. I wanted it. I was disappointed like a year ago when he didn't do it, but this is not why I'm picking him. I'm picking him because I see a UFC veteran with really good Brazilian jiu-jitsu and a live chance to find a submission in this fight. I'm popping the Zin back in for this one. I think Money Moicano by submission is happening. I believe it. Moicano, money line plus 235. Submission line plus 365. Over 2.5 plus 140. I like Moicano by sub. What's Moicano by submission in like a certain round? What if you got a 3rd round submission? You're looking at plus 1,500. You're just Degen chasing. I like the Moicano underdog, though. I think he's being overlooked in this fight. I think Benoit Saint-Denis is a technically flawed fighter who gets a lot of praise because of his bullying style, but I don't think that he's going to walk right through Money Moicano, who's on a roll right now, and also said it himself, he can't afford to lose. And this is Moicano's big chance. You beat Benoit Saint-Denis, it's high-level, top-tier UFC opposition, and he's in a main event. I don't think he's going to fumble the bag on that one. Money in the nickname is lucky, I think, and I think that Money Moicano gets a W here against Benoit Saint-Denis. I think Saint-Denis bullies him a bit early. Moicano survives the onslaught and then finds the submission. And the money line, you get him plus 235. So give me Money Moicano for the upset in the main event. I'm picking him over Benoit Saint-Denis. Let's keep running down. We got Matt Frevola. He's taking on a French fighter in Faraz Ziam. I think Frevola's live to win. Ziam's a good striker from distance. Frevola has the wrestling advantage. Frevola's got that dog in him, and he's got a sick knockout of Drew Dober. But I will tell it as it is with Matt Frevola. At times, he looks really bad in fights. There's times where I'm like, damn, Frevola's not looking good right now. But it's okay, because I do believe that he can deal with Ziam's point-based striking style. Ziam is not a power striker, and I think Frevola could land some big punches on the inside, but I do think Frevola could close the gap and get Ziam to the floor. Ziam is not a physically strong guy. Ziam's not a high-caliber grappler. He was getting taken down and controlled a bit by Claudio Puelles, and I think Frevola's much more of a savage than Puelles. I'm going with Matt Frevola to outdog Faraz Ziam. Faraz, bro. I'm sorry for botching your name, Faraz Ziam. Got me stumbling on my damn words. I want to start cracking up, man. Holy shit. As far as the sub prop, it's plus 700. That's a Degen call. Frevola locking up a neck or something like that. But Frevola straight money line is the pick at plus 110. I'm calling him to get it done. We'll ride in with Matt Frevola and the underdog hits in this fight. I like Frevola as a dog. Let's keep running. Next underdog, this one, Daniel Barez. Now we're getting into early in the night, lower level MMA action. Okay, so now the risk is jumping even higher, but it's still a pick. Barez is plus 105 as an underdog with Altamirano at minus 125. I think Barez can do damage with his hands. Match the grappling of Altamirano. Sorry, guys. I'm still recovering from my damn cold, all right? I'm feeling a lot better, but I'm still recovering. If you hear me coughing a little bit, that's why. Give me Barez for the W. I mean, he'd be live for a knockout, but I wouldn't bet it. It is plus 600, so maybe a Degen betting it, but he's got to land body shots on Altamirano. Altamirano's got that Mexican chin. I'm picking a decision for Barez. Close fight with Altamirano. Definitely expect Altamirano trying to wrestle, and I think Barez will have better defense than expected. Maybe land some clean shots in the feet. He's plus 105. Close money line for a reason. That's a coin flip fight, but I am picking Barez, even though I'm really not crazy about the bet. I love the first two. That one, not as much. Next up, Chris Duncan. I like the pick of Duncan. He's a riskier bet for sure. I mean, damn. He got absolutely exposed last time against Manuel Torres, who then got exposed by Ignacio Bahamondes. I just don't believe Bolaji Oki is as good as advertised. He's got that split decision over Timmy Kawamba. I wasn't overly impressed by that. He does have a bit of power, but it's still raw power, and he's still a bit chaotic with his striking. I know he knocked out Dylan Salvador, but Salvador is a super one-dimensional striker who I think was also a bit overrated. Duncan, plus 165 with a potential wrestling advantage. We saw Duncan out-wrestle, Ashmoos. I think that could be a factor in this fight. Over 1.5, minus 185. I do think we're going over 1.5. And I think Duncan is live to get the underdog call win. I think it'll be hard fought, though. Not an easy fight with Oki. But don't be surprised when Duncan is actually taking Oki down and controlling him a bit. I think Oki has suspect grappling. It just hasn't been exploited yet. And even though Chris Duncan is not known as a grappling maestro, he does have relatively decent wrestling abilities. Duncan by decision plus 350. That's something to call. I do think Duncan is live for a decision. My official pick is Duncan getting it done on the scorecards. Mixing in some wrestling, MMA-based game plan, avoiding some big bombs from Bolaji Oki, and finding himself a nice win. Those are my favorite underdogs on the card, with obviously Moicano being the big one to start it off with a bang. I do want to jump to the Degen Props of the Night section. Make sure you guys smash the likes if you haven't, and if you're new, sub it up. Let's mention them. We got a handful. Cavalcanti by decision. She beat Nora Cornolle once. This was, a few years back. She's gotten better since then. I think she's getting it done on the scorecards. That's minus 130. Now, if you like Cavalcanti to win, but you don't want to play the decision prop, you just want an over, it's minus 350 for the over 2.5 in that fight. Next one, Ailín Pérez and Daria Zheleznyakova fight to go over 2.5 rounds. That sits at minus 275. And you also could do Pérez by a decision, which is minus 125. Obviously, you're getting, a better line on decision prop in Pérez. Somehow Zheleznyakova pulled off the big upset. But I do think Pérez is going to be wrestling her up all night. I'm fairly confident in the women's pick with Pérez and Cavalcanti. I mean, maybe you're doing a women's fucking parlay and you're putting those two ladies together. Next up, Ivan Erslan, no distance. You can get that at plus 110. I feel like it's unlikely he wins a decision. Now, if it does go distance, then your bet has no action, right? So it's just you predicting Erslan to get a finish of Cutelaba. Now, if Cutelaba finishes him, you're taking a fat L. That is plus 110. I do think he's live to pull through in that fashion. I also do believe he's going to get a knockout win. The knockout for Erslan is not significantly better, but still better than plus 110. It sits at plus 170, so you are getting 60 more points your way if you like Erslan by KO. Probably his most likely method to win is knockout, so that could definitely be better than no distance. But I don't know. Something about no distance called my name. Because then if Cutelaba grinds to a decision, finding some key takedowns, and gets it on the scorecards, because Erslan's relatively durable, you're not taking an L, you're at least getting the cash back. But Erslan for the W is the official pick in that fight. And I am calling a knockout. The next one is Imavov and Ailín to go over a round and a half. That sits at minus 275. I think that's probably going to happen. Also, fight going distance is plus 100. I also got a feeling this thing's going all three. I know Ailín's got the submission threat in the fight. And I know some people are going to be salivating at the Brendan Allen submission line because you got a fairly good line at nearly what? Plus 600? It's a good sub line. But Imavov's Dagestan blood. Is he really getting rear naked strangled? I don't think so. So that's why I think this fight's going long. Imavov getting it done on the cards is the official pick. I do want to jump to everybody's favorite section. We're jumping to parlays. Let's talk about it. As I pop out this in, we're about to go on a rant over here. Okay, so parlay number one, I'm calling this the safe call. Battle and Brito. I see both of them winning. Both are locks on this card for me. And I see them cashing nicely at a good plus 127 line. Conservative, respectable, classy, and plus money. Next up, we got Brito, Charrier, and Klein. I got a cough. I think at minus 130, this is still relatively safe. Two extremely chalky favorites, with one, Brito, being the slightly chalky favorite. Minus 130, yeah, the lines aren't great, but it is still better than, you know, betting a minus 280 Brito down the center for as far as odds go. And I think it does happen. Now, if you like something a little bit different, maybe you like Umar Sy, Taylor Lapilus, and Brito, you got plus 115 for that. That brings you into the plus money territory, which I like. Now, you can drop something safe-ish with Umar Sy, Lapilus, Brito, and Brian Battle for plus 257. I think that one's got a good chance of happening too. Next up, we got Battle, Brito, and Sy, plus 173. I think Umar's a special talent. You guys know it. And obviously, Battle and Brito together is a safe call for me. So I think this is relatively safe too. Now, if you want a little safe-ish action, Battle, Brito, Charrier, and Klein, I think it's probably going to happen. I mean, Brito, Charrier, and Klein all lined up together, I think is safe. Adding Battle, which is the lock of the week on it, not a horrible call for a safe-ish plus 195. Now, Battle, Brito, Charrier, Klein, Lapilus, and Sy. We're trying to make a long parlay, but we are getting in plus 364 territory. I think this is very live for a plus 350 or more parlay. I like that call. Now, if you want a little alternate action, you put the Brazilians together. Even though Cavalcanti resides in Portugal, she is Brazilian blood. Brito and Cavalcanti for plus 109 for alternate. Then if you just want to do a Brazilian degenerate parlay, Brito, Money Moicano, and Cavalcanti plus 600. You guys know I like that Moicano dog in the main. Now, if you want some live savagery, but not nearly as degen, you get plus 290 for Battle and Brito, which is two confident calls. Charrier by knockout, which is also a confident pick, and is nearly 3-1 with the parlay right there. Now, if you want to go savage mode, Battle, Brito, Charrier by KO, a Lapilus decision, and Umar Sy to win by submission brings you to plus 1,329. Yes, you're going high-risk territory because you're throwing damn props in the mix. Now, do that same parlay, but add in Cavalcanti by decision and Ludovic Klein. You got plus 2,689. That's savage mode. If you, for some reason, don't like, Ludovic Klein, you're going to lose about 300 points if you just have Cavalcanti in, but that's still huge plus money. That's savage AF. Now, I wanted to drop a dog-heavy degen call. I didn't want it to be more than 4 fighters, and I found the magic. Battle, Brito, Frevola, and Moicano. 2 dogs, 2 locks. Mix them together, plus 1499, nearly plus 1500. And I think you got a heavy hitter going down this Saturday. Those are the parlays this week. I like them a lot. I'm feeling good about everything that I got written down here. And I think we got some pretty A-tier calls. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode of this week's Best MMA Bets. I'm glad I'm feeling a bit better, man. I was stressing about feeling under the weather for that damn fight companion, but I feel good. I hope you guys are well. Make sure you smash the like button on your way out. If you're new to the channel, subscribe it up. Let me know what you thought of the picks in the comments. I want to hear what the people are thinking as far as the bets go. And if you got nothing to say in the comments, but you just enjoy the content, as always, drop a W in the chat to boost the algorithm for your boy. Thank you guys all for watching. I'll see you all on the next one. Peace out.